Alright, so to explain a few things about the Acid Lab from what I read so far and what I understood by playing it. The Acid Lab is the newest business, or if you prefer, solo business inside GTA Online. It is very the mindset behind the business is very similar to the motorcycle businesses or even the bunker. Means you gather supplies or you buy supplies, and the more time you spend online, those supplies get turned into product. Eventually, when it reaches full capacity or before it reaches full capacity, depends how you want to play, you actually run a sell mission and you sell the product. It all starts at the Freak Shop, which is the newest location. It is a location frequently visited when you play one of the pre-missions, the Caillou Heist, where the part of the fingerprint cloner, it is one of the 3 locations you actually have to drive there in order to get the cloner and get it back to Kosatka. Like all the other businesses inside the game, the Acid Lab continues to convert, let's say, the supplies into stock as long as you are online. It doesn't. You don't actually have to have the business spawned. But before I get to that. First, in order to obtain the Acid Lab, which is pretty much a brigade, which has the lab installed on the back, you have to complete the 6 first dose missions from Dax at the Freak Shop. Most of the missions can be done on solo. However, if I'm not mistaken, 1 or 2 either require a second player or it's just better to have a second player. By completing those 6 missions, you pretty much unlock the ability not to buy the brigade, but you actually own it. Because although the brigade can be bought from the war stock, it doesn't replace the Acid Lab. The same happens with the sell missions of the warehouses. The brigade is also used for those missions. Yet if you actually buy the brigade, it doesn't replace the vehicle for those missions. So gaining the brigade for the Acid Lab is done only by completing Dax's missions. This is a spot. For some reason they added 3 entry points, I don't know the purpose. Once you complete those 6 missions, you get access here, and you also get the brigade, which then you can upgrade. The upgrades are rather cool, though I don't actually know where they are needed, because you barely spawn the brigade, or you barely need to spawn the brigade, much less drive it around. So it has armor breaks, everything. It's the same like upgrading a normal car, with the exception of the Acid Lab upgrades. For the Acid Lab upgrades, in order to be able to get the Acid Lab equipment, the requirement is to complete 10 missions by calling Dax from your cell phone. not by going on the waypoint, because the waypoint outside of this area launches again the first dose missions. Having DAX as a contact on your phone gives you access to the 10 missions you actually need to complete. It's not just 10, it's infinite. They are just repetitive. You just need, the requirement is to actually complete 10 of them in order to unlock the acid lab equipment. The rest of the equipments are unlocked. You can buy them, you can customize the vehicle, but just as I said, I actually spawned it once, maybe twice, and I didn't drive it around, so just a waste of money, just to have it. Before I show more about the equipment, this is how the lab is inside. It's something like Terrorbyte without the cool hacking stuff. It is something like a meth lab, let's say. Okay, so here is your stock if you want to launch the sell mission. That's why, okay. I cannot sell it from inside the free shop for some reason. Here are your supplies. If you want to steal supplies, you go here to launch the mission. If you want to buy supplies, you go to the dude there. Full supply cost is 60,000. However, you need around 2 point something refills on the supplies in order to get full stock. That's a bit less than 180,000 just to get full stock. Without the lab upgrade equipment, the stock was around 250,000. With the upgrades, as you can see, at full stock it got boosted to 335,000. It's not much, it's less than 100,000. And these prices are non-event, because about 2 weeks ago Rockstar launched an event where which pretty much boosted the payout of the SLR by 100%. So instead of 250,000, I was actually able to get about 500,000. That was a decent payout, I have to say, based on the amount of money I put out of pocket in order to get full supplies. Stealing supplies is pretty much the same as the motorcycle businesses, meaning you will need, if you are lucky, 3, if you are not lucky, 4 or maybe 5 missions in order to get full supplies, to avoid paying for them and to get as maximum profit as possible. But the thing is, the amount of time you have to spend in the game in order to get full supplies and then sell it, compared to how much money you get in return, is not much, is a joke. It reminds me of the document forgery motorcycle business, which is pretty much the same. The motorcycle business, the document forgery business, is right now the lowest paid solo business you can have, because in order to get full supplies you need to pay 75,000, and the maximum payout you can get from this business when not running in an event which boosts payment is 150,000 at best. You barely get a little bit more money than the money you got by buying supplies, and you need about 1.5 you need to buy about 1.5 times the supplies in order to fill the stock in that business. So you need around, let's say, 100,000, maybe 110,000, only to get 40,000 in return. It's best to just go and do an auto shop job contract, not the unit depository, which gives 270,000, even a lower one. It's still more profitable than actually running the document forgery. However, like all the other businesses, the same as Asset Lab, the payment does get better while during an event, when the event actually boosts the payout. Normally, the event boosts the payout one time. Means that when my cocaine lab at full stock gives 525,000, during the event it gave 1,050,000, which is not bad, I have to say. Anyway, however, because normal businesses allow you to buy upgrades that reduces time, improves the quality and stuff, but the Asset Lab does not actually offer exactly those same upgrades. In the Asset Lab, you actually have to come here manually, and you can actually boost the asset production once per day. That's once per in-game day, or once every 48 minutes. That's not the boost doesn't last the whole day. It lasts a few minutes. It just have a cooldown of 48 minutes. Now, as any other business which provides you with a vehicle in order to sell the stock, the Asset Lab allows you to use the chances that you can actually encounter on Caillou, on the Caillou heist. These Sanchez, Manchets Sanchez, or Manchets Scout, I don't exactly remember his name, is also a bike you can actually buy for yourself. However, buying it for yourself doesn't replace the sell bike for the Asset Lab, but you can also upgrade it the same way you upgrade your own vehicle. I have to say that for the Asset Lab business actually provides a diversity because it offers a new variety of missions. Even the sell mission is something unique. Actually, the sell mission might have been how can I say it? I think it is something like an improvement of the old arcade game Paperboy, if you are familiar with it, because my first sell mission with the Acid Lab, I actually had to get the bike, go to a specific area, and then go to door and try to throw the acid package inside a crate or a box, which was actually pretty much what Paperboy used to be. But instead of just throwing newspapers, I just threw the acid package. And that's it. 10 deliveries with the same bike in the same small area location. The time was more than enough, I have to say. I didn't have to fight any enemies, so it was just about having good aim. And of course, the acid packages I had to deliver were infinite, so even if I would miss in the crate, I could just try until I get it right. I don't know if they changed that. Now let's actually try this. Okay. Since I cannot launch anything from inside, I will just have to drive it around. The principle of Acid Lab is pretty much the same like Terrorbyte. You have a mobile business, you spawn it, and you just run a few things. However, for some reason, the handling of this vehicle it's like it is on ice or it is on snow while there is no snow around. Now,
package in the trunk of a Washington he left up there. Guy seems kind of paranoid to me, but hey, I don't judge. Maybe they're really after him. You should have the location now.
This is the other kind of mission, which is kind of interesting, I have to say. Now, the handling of this bike is pretty much the same as your own bike. It doesn't change anything other than the fact that it is just for the sell mission. Yeah. Seems familiar. Something like a movie or something, like a Sting. Yeah, you guessed it. Number 2. Number 3 is going to have a party. And it's on the other side. Number 4. Number 5. Is it? Yeah, of course it is. And the van. And we are pretty much surrounded. Now look at this. I am surrounded, but I cannot move because of the animation. Okay, now I can move. Now I just have to outrun pretty much everything. There is the ramp. Bye. Can I leave from here? No. No other business so far has a sting operation like this one. I'm talking about the cell, the regular cell missions of the other businesses, which as an idea is fun. However, it could be improved a bit. Now, have in mind that this is a single drop, so the time it gives you is actually kind of a lot. and also it's solo. You don't actually require a second or a third player to have with. Unlike the post-stop missions from the motorcycle businesses, for example. And that's it. Leave the area. And it's done. Like all the other businesses, the money gets added directly into your bank account, not on cash. Now, the asset lab is located inside your services. You can access the menu from here. Return options. Okay.
Okay, we got there in the end, and the journey's what counts, right? This has been like
Yeah, okay, whatever. You can see. What? There it is. Now, one other thing. As I said, what? Why did it spawn me here? Yeah, okay. Well, GTA logic. Anyway, you can pretty much retract gas lab back to the storage. It doesn't affect the production rate. The difference is in the motorcycle businesses and in the bunker, when you run out of the supplies, you'll get a notification that you ran out of supplies, or that your stock is full, for example. In Acid Lab, you have to check manually. There is no notification on your phone or on the left side above the minimap that either you are running low on supplies or that your stock is full. You just have to keep checking. If you want to play it daily or regularly, you will just have to keep checking it manually. Having played almost every business setup in GTA Online, I have to say that this is both stupid and exhausting. I mean, spending all that time stealing supplies in order to avoid buying them, and being online and having to check everything manually, and then having to boost the production manually. Why? It's simpler. If I want a business, I would just go buy the cocaine lab, play 2 hours, have it full stock, sell it. That's $500,000. Let me show you something else. I am going to make a comparison to you comparing it the time you need to spend online and the money you can actually get as payment for the time you spend online, and you will be able to understand why Acid Lab may be a good idea as a whole concept, but the execution is so poor that it actually makes it a waste of time, actually. Totally a waste of time. The idea is good, but the execution is very poor. Can I go from here? Well, let's just run there. It's close. In terms of trading time to get the most profit you can, I believe I have the best setup in the game so far. In all businesses, the arcade, the warehouses, vehicle warehouse, motorcycle businesses, everything. So, I will retire as CEO and I will become a president. Now, in terms of trading time online, in order to get as much money as possible, excluding the heists, because Caio Perico is still the best and easiest way to get a lot of money on your own, and you actually do get more money on your own rather than playing with others, the heist. And the next best heist, which pays a lot, is actually the casino, the Diamond Casino. But for that you need a second player as minimum. So Caio and Diamond Casino are the two best heists in order to actually get a lot of money. Okay, the Diamond Casino actually does get around 2 hours and 30 minutes in order to set it up completely, so you can have an easy and smooth heist without having any problems or without having problem completing it. The Caio, however, you can actually complete the necessary prep missions in around 30 to 40 minutes, and then if you set it up correctly and you scout it correctly, the heist itself can be done in around between 9 and 14 minutes, so you can also get the elite challenge. I mean, for the amount of money it gives and the time it requires, the Caio is the best way to actually get money in the game. However, if you want to actually play the game and spend more time in the game doing something or building something, the heist can help you get money, but the businesses can help you invest money and also invest time in order to play, let's say, the long run in a way. So there are 5 businesses for the motorcycle club you can actually buy: the cocaine, the meth, the weed, counterfeit, and document forgery. From the 5 of them, the document forgery is actually the only business that doesn't give you any real profit. I mean, the real profit you get if you buy the supplies, like you buy the supplies for everything else, is 30, maybe 40,000. That's it. And I am talking about running a business when not having an event that boosts the payout. I'm talking about the regular payout. As you can see, with a full stock, the best thing I can get is 157,000. Having spent about 110,000 at least on supplies in order to actually have the full stock, it doesn't give that much payout in return. The Acid Lab is almost at this level right now. Between the time you spend, the supplies you spend, the supplies you buy, the time you spend, and the money you get in return. The counterfeit actually gives a little more cash than the Acid Lab. It's almost the same. However, the counterfeit is considered one of the most profitable motorcycle businesses because of the time it needs to actually reach full stock. Because I don't know exactly the time the Acid Lab requires, but I do know that the Acid Lab requires at least 2 full resupplies in order to get full stock. Unlike the counterfeit company, which doesn't require exactly 2, it requires less than 2. To be honest, only the cocaine lab, I think, or maybe even the meth lab, these two businesses require 2 resupply runs, or a little bit more than 2 resupply runs. That's 75,000 each supply times 2, that's 150,000, maybe 160 to 170,000 in supplies if you buy them. However, the cocaine, the maximum profit you can get is 500,000, which is at least 300,000 more in profit buying the supplies, not stealing them, buying the supplies. Okay, and in meth it's 400,000, 440, let's say. So it's still 200 and something thousand extra profit. Now imagine that from the auto shop job contracts, the best paid job is the union depository robbery, which gives you, if you play it alone, 270,000 as payment. If you play it with another person, it gives you the leader a little above than 300,000. And it is just a job which requires around 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes to complete. Okay, not 15, okay, maybe 20-25 minutes. So in terms of payment, of profit, and of the value between time spent in the game and maximum profit, the Acid Lab does have potential, but right now doesn't pay that well. That's it. Thank you for watching.